Recently, YouTuber YourMovieSucks, also known as YMS, has gotten into controversy after another YouTuber, Rob's Media, put out a video against him, criticizing various statements and comments he's made in the past. Some of these include alleging various forms of degeneracy against Adam, YMS, such as defending Drawn CP, playing devil's advocate for bestiality and zoophilia, having a weird obsession with Scar from The Lion King, and other various allegations such as just generally being mentally unstable. YMS responded to a lot of this, claiming things are taken out of context or bad faith, along with accusing Rob's Media of sharing inappropriate pictures with minors, because Rob didn't censor the NSFW account of YourMovieSucks in the video critical of him, claiming this leads minors to find the account. DeOrio also jumped in, pointing out various hypocrisies between YMS's arguments, which of course Adam denied being the same. Welcome to the internet versus YourMovieSucks. It starts, of course, when Rob's Media tweets out the video with the caption, "New video about the love between man and lion." I recommend you watch Rob's video, otherwise a lot of this video won't make much sense. Purely because of YouTube TOS, I will just link to Rob's channel in the description. I don't know if age-restricted videos, linking to them also age restricts this video. To be honest, I don't really know how that works. There's no specific details on that, but Rob's channel will be linked in the description. You can see the video from there. But for today, we're going to just jump right into Adam's reply to Rob's video. And he starts off in a statement saying, "There is a hit piece video made about me that people are asking me to respond to. Unfortunately, I'm out of town on the biggest work trip of the year that I do annually and won't be able to provide a thorough video response until I'm back in over a week. I believe this was intentional. I've already left a lengthy and detailed comments response with timestamps in the video's comment section debunking the claims. I've reached out to the original video creator on multiple platforms, requesting them to pin my comment for visibility and transparency. He has ignored me and refuses to do so. Even his friend who republished a hit piece on their own channel with minimal commentary have refused to pin my comments responding to their claims. The reason I'm not sharing a direct link to the video here is because it contains detailed descriptions of corn images involving myself and consenting adults, plus instructions on how to access them with images of pages and usernames. Since my main account is not set to 18+, I will not be sharing that here. The original video creator, however, is perfectly comfortable keeping these sections in his video uncensored to his audience of YouTube drama commentary slop consumers, which we all know have a higher than average percentage of 13 to 17-year-old viewers. Both him and his friend have the option to set their video to 18+ on their end, but they refuse to do so, ensuring that at least some minors are given detailed descriptions of explicit material and how to access it. This is unacceptable and a clear violation of YouTube's terms of service. If you are an adult who wishes to view the original video, make sure to sort the comments by new, then scroll until you see mine. Then upvote my comment for visibility so people can be informed that I have responded and intend on responding more thoroughly when I'm back in town. For now, I'm going to continue to focus on my work during this busy week. If you're upset that I'm not doing a video response until over a week from now, you can blame the original uploader who either planned this intentionally or didn't do any research on me at all outside of copy-pasting clips and JPEGs from gossip forums. If you aren't interested in watching this video, the TLDR is that it's more of the same shit I've already thoroughly responded to a billion times on a billion different platforms. 10 to 15 years ago, I shared my perspective on various controversial moral philosophical issues, and because I was in my early 20s, I didn't phrase myself as well as I would have today. The 10th most viewed video on the YMS Highlights channel is one of my responses to this exact same thing happening years ago. Feel free to watch that if you're curious. It is yet another absolute nothing burger, supported by the fact that these people always have to keep going back 10 to 15 years for these clips instead of focusing on any of the lengthy and numerous clarifications I've made since then. When my responses like this one are mentioned, it's only ever framed as, wow, he must be obsessed with this subject if he keeps talking about it, all the while failing to mention that the only times I've ever mentioned these subjects is when people demand I make a response to the same 10 to 15-year-old clips being dug up over and over. It is maliciously dishonest and intentional. The framing of the original video is both ignorant and irresponsible, making no efforts to do their due diligence for fact-checking. 1/3 of the video is pure speculation or outright fiction. 1/3 of the video is cherry-picked comments I've over the years presented in ways that intentionally remove nuance and intent. 1/3 of the video is unironically shaming me for being a queer furry. I've archived their original posts along with proof that their videos are still accessible to minors without requiring any sign-in to view them. They have both been notified about how irresponsible this is. The original uploader has ignored me, and his friend wound up arguing with me in his comment section attempting to justify their decision. It is apparently not worth the ad revenue to prevent minors in their audience from hearing descriptions of corn material with screenshots showing how to access it. If anyone else can help me archive archive information from these two channels before they delete them, that would be greatly appreciated since I'm very busy on my work trip. Thank you. And Connor replies to YMS by saying, "You think animals can consent?" And YMS replies, "Not sure how you were born otherwise." Rollerut replies with this clip from YMS streams with the caption, "Animated pizza should be legal." YMS.
Should animated child be legal? Yes, it should be. You shouldn't be able to go to jail for drawing something even if it's, like, disgusting and people don't agree with it.
Yeah, it's like...
Like, you can just not look at it if you don't like it. There's no victim to drawing something.
Yeah, I love it when people think that, like, an actual baby's been harmed by drawing one. It's like... What? Are you, like, mental? I know that, like, people get uncomfortable, but, like,
yeah, exactly. You shouldn't
no
jail people for being uncomfortable.
Gambit replies to YMS by saying, "No one cares that you're a furry or like NSFW furry activities. You condoned lolicon and bestiality. That's the main issue that you're intentionally leaving out and still defending." Josie replies to YMS by saying, "I genuinely couldn't get more than like 3 minutes through the original video because of how reductive, queerphobic, and just overall gross it was. I'm sorry you have to deal with this shit. You don't deserve this." And Smaggle replies, "Fellas, is it queerphobic to have S with your dog?" Late Movie Reviews replies to YMS by saying, "The same exposing happens every time like a clockwork. Once again, another video/post talking about the same old out of context clips and bad faith, knowing the audience won't fact check anything. It's just annoying as a viewer." And Turimba replies, "What's the context that would make saying animals can consent to S okay?" And Hungerface says, "He made it very clear that, quote, a dog could hypothetically want S with a human, end quote, is not the same as, quote, you should do it actually, end quote. He made it clear that he did not mean like proper informed consent like a human would have." Then for a brief period, Rob's original video got taken down, allegedly for S content, and Rob tweets out at Team YouTube, "It seems like you took this video down unfairly. The claim is for S content at 8:58, which is a reading of a Reddit post made by a popular YouTuber. The original clip is still up." Rob's Media also posted on his community tab saying the YourMovieSucks video was just taken down by YouTube due to nudity and S content policy. Despite this, the clip in question simply shows Noel reading one of Adam's Reddit posts, and that video is currently still up on YouTube. This video was clearly reported by one of Adam's fans, as only hours earlier he made a tweet alleging that my video violates the community guidelines for a completely separate reason. Then he links to the Reddit post that we read from YMS, and continues, "He claims that simply mentioning his NSFW material posted to Twitter, a 13+ website by the way, is a violation, even though I never showed it in my video, instead showing YouTube appropriate B-roll. If you want to watch the video, it's archived on PreserveTube." YMS then responds to this video getting taken down by quote tweeting his original response with the screenshots and saying, "Absolutely crazy that these two idiots thought sharing corn with minors was perfectly fine until getting called out on Twitter." And Punished Zoomer replies with the screenshot of Rob's Media post, talking about why it was taken down and captioning it, "Lamau, you mean the corn you posted?" And Sensitive Society replies, "You're a fucking moron blaming/accusing people for something so serious. I mean, by that logic, you're a dog fucker who likes lolly and little kids, and you're sharing explicit content yourself. You've reviewed movies for children, and those same people are young, who might have followed your insane, disgusting, explicit accounts. Might as well change your name to YMS445. I thought I was pretty charitable towards you when we talked, but I see I was wrong. I'm going to expose you more and tell my mom on you until you can't type anymore because your wrist hurts so much from jacking it to the Lion King, you freak. My mom will be speaking to you in 2 to 4 available dates. You've been warned, Animal Lover 445. And Hobag replies, "Wait, you're a YouTuber with 500k subs? Lamau, I thought you were just some random troll. How much more sad can you possibly get? Wow." Before these replies came in to Sensitive Society's post though, YMS did quote tweet it by saying, "None of my YouTube accounts lead to corn of myself. You did that. You did that on your YouTube channel. How hard is that to understand? Why didn't you set the video to 18+? Why didn't you blur the page/usernames when you were alerted of this? Why are you defending this?" And Chris replies, "Oh, so we're just completely ignoring that kids can just type YMS in Google and your other accounts separate from YouTube show up? You really think kids just use the social links button from your channel? Are you stupid? If they're really wanting to follow, they'll find it." And Sneeder Griffin replies, "No, he's deflecting. Don't give him the benefit of Hanlon's razor." However, after everything, Rob's Media does tweet out, "Good news, YouTube put the video back up. It's under an age restriction due to a reading of Adam's Reddit post though, but I'll take what I can get." YMS then responds to this by tweeting out his video and the caption, YMS responds to yet another hit piece on him, which again will be linked in the description if you want to watch it, and Buddha Cat replies, then why are you trying to smear and silence Rob's media? You even had your own audience try to take down his video. Frankly, that doesn't make you sound innocent. Nicholas DeOrio then weighs in by quote tweeting YMS and saying, this guy's a total fucking creep, by the way. He's desperately trying to slander Rob's media as a child groomer to deflect away from his own statements. And Tate replies, Rob refused to set a video with corn in it to 18+, despite his young audience, and didn't blur the usernames or page either. Real misuse of the word slander here. Rob is a creep who is fine with exposing children to corn. And Nick replies, what are you into that you're projecting this hard? Should we be concerned about you? Buckley says, oh, do people hate YMS now? That's some fun vindication for me. He was upset at me for some nonsense a year ago or something. I saw some comments. Is he a lolly defender? If so, that's nuts. And Nick replies, this one is crazy. A guy, Rob, made a video compiling a ton of old statements. This contained a slew of gross and weird shit. In response, YMS smeared Rob as a child groomer who, quote, sends corn to kids, end quote, for showing a screenshot of YMS's NSFW Twitter account on screen. And Joanna replies, freaking hell, as if the bestiality justifications weren't already bad enough on their own. Wish I knew about all of this sooner. I used to be subscribed to YMS for years until I saw Rob's video on him. Your buddy Brady says, he made himself look worse than that comment responds. He was so blatantly making a false narrative that he just made up. And Nick replies, I think he thought typing, he's literally sending corn to minors 50 times would win him the war outside of his warped freak community. Luis replies with these pictures in the caption, now his furry audience is trying to frame Nick as a pee defender. And it's a comment on YouTube from a Negative Koala, where Negative Koala says, I don't trust Nicholas DeOrio involving himself in conversations about a pee after an interaction he had with one of my online mutuals a few years ago. The context is that he was partially defending Sniper Wolf when an old video of her on Omegle resurfaced. In the video, she came across a user who stated in the text chat that they were underage, but Sniper Wolf proceeded to ask them to flash. Nick defended the clip, saying that Sniper Wolf knew the webcam was simulated and the person on the other end wasn't actually them, and my friend responded to his tweet by giving a pretty harmless opinion. If someone on Omegle introduces themselves as underage, you should move on immediately, whether or not you suspect otherwise. Nick blocked them immediately, and the doggy dog replies, not to mention his constant defense of Zaptai essing a minor. He says she lies about her age, her actually being 13 and not 16, but regardless of that, he's still defending a 20-year-old having S conversations with a perceived 16-year-old. And Kitty the cat replies, why is always the one who preaches about protecting the kids ends up being the most suspicious ones? LK replies, bro, why is Adam liking the comment? He's got to hire a PR team or something. And Louise says, to be fair, this highlights channel is run by a YMS fan, so either one of them could have liked it. I do know Adam takes like 50%, so it still does fall on him. And Adam tells the person what to post and whatnot. YMS then tweets out this screenshot of Rob's media's page showing that Rob has blocked him. Lord Yoshi replies, baselessly calls Rob's media a groomer, gets blocked. YMS, surprise Pikachu. Nicholas DeOrio also quote tweets YMS by saying, you're smearing him as a child groomer. And Mr. BGS replies, word for word, or was it heavily implied? And Nick says word for word, refers to him as a groomer and stated that he was caught sending ends to minors. And Tarambar replies, he doubled down on it when asked him why he retweeted someone calling Rob a P, attaching a comment of TK Man saying, at YMS, do you think that justifies you retweeting someone calling him a P? And YMS saying, they both insisted on keeping their video accessible for minors for days after being informed that this was an issue. They both insisted on keeping uncensored description of corn acts and images with uncensored pages and usernames, telling minors and their audience to access described corn material by going to that page. That is, in fact, P behavior, not up for debate. And Henry Hillock replies, every article written by a journalist with open reports on crimes by OF models with their usernames and blurred content are Ps. Children could read that and know corn exists. If you'll excuse me, I need to go jizz in this mascot outfit, like a regular person. YMS quote tweets Nick by saying, looking forward to you watching my video later, since it's clear you haven't yet. Thanks. And Nick replies, you deserve more hate. Nick then quote tweets YMS by saying, hey, YMS, why are you giving your minor audience a tutorial on how to find Rule 34 corn? Seems kinda hypocritical, attaching this clip.
Make love, not war. Why can't they use a professional movie budget for CG for something that's actually worthwhile? Like pornography. Predator pornography. I should look some up right now. None of these are what I wanted. See, They put aliens in there too. There's one with a demigorgon. The top one they have like weirdly human eyes. It's not bad animation though. Holy shit, one of these is 25 minutes long?
It's probably a distress signal coming from this ship. What the hell?
Yes, I'm searching up predator porn. That's how invested I am in the film.
YMS then quote tweets Nick by saying, "This is the funniest response you could have given because you would know that this was addressed in the video if you had watched it. Thanks." And Nick replies, "Your response was that you weren't shaming when showing it. Nice cop out. And that your editor included it as a fun gag. So why is there discussions on looking up and browsing corn in your under 18 video? Is it only grooming when they are talking about you getting fucked in the ass wearing a gorilla suit or something?" Nicandros replies to YMS by saying, "What's the material difference between that and what Rob did? That you didn't say to your audience that they can check out predator corn this way?" And DeOrio replies, "One of his arguments is that it's only grooming if you're mean."
I didn't say what hole was being inserted by what thing. And also, it's not in the context of let's shame this person, right? It's not in that context. It's in the context of, haha, this movie's so boring that I'm going to look up porn.
And Nicandros replies, "Yeah, I saw the response and I still have no clue how he can make this attack and pretend like that joke was not in the same ballpark. Nux Taku showed corn to minors on YouTube for years is literally one of my 3 canned voice lines, and nothing about Rob's video rises anywhere near that conduct." YMS then quote tweets Nick's clip with a response by saying, "Nice try. Have you still not watched the video, or are you deliberately leaving out context again? I'll explain it again here since you won't. 1. Rob's video led to corn images of real people. Mine did not. 2. Rob described who and what is being penetrated, which hole and what race is doing what, all under the context of shaming those involved. The extent of what was described in my video is me saying there's a demigorgon. 3. Rob told his audience to go to the specific user page to view it, while simultaneously showing the user page on screen. My video did not show or mention any usernames, artist names, or anything beyond the name of the base website that hosts material. This is no different than mentioning the name of Twitter as a website. This is not equivalent to directing people towards a specific page to view the described images of real people. 4. Rob's video presents itself in the context of a moral panic and a call to action, leading to easily influenced people, minors, being more likely to seek out the content he is describing. My video is presented as an unserious joke with no suggestion for anyone to view the images being referenced. 5. Rob refuses to blur the specific usernames shown on screen, even after days of being informed that this was both a serious ethical issue and a violation of YouTube TOS. The images shown in my video were heavily censored before even being uploaded, once from my editor and again from myself, to ensure that nothing being shown was in violation of any ethics or YouTube TOS. 6. If YouTube decides to age restrict my video for that clip, I'm not going to bitch about it. I'm still waiting for a response from either of you explaining why it was necessary to keep the specific username on screen while simultaneously telling people to visit the page if they want to see the described images. What would have been missing from the video if the username was blurred like I requested? Genuinely, answer that question. I cannot think of any reason other than that the intent was to drive traffic to that page. This is a big issue on a video that is set to all ages, and I'm genuinely shocked you're still defending this. DeOrio then tweets out a screenshot of YMS's response and captions it, "I watched like 80% of this and he didn't show a single clip of anything. At one point he made a point to say that he archived my stream, but then just tells the audience his version of what I said instead of just showing them." And Dutch replies, "He either cultivated his audience in such a way that they trust his words without hesitation, or he knows his arguments have no substance, so he's resorting to hearsay. This is what the other guy said. Both make him malicious, and there are few things worse than malicious creeps." According Train also posts YMS response on the YouTube drama subreddit with the title "YMS goes over the recent accusations made by Rob Media," and Legendary replies, "God, I haven't seen YMS in a long time, years even. Him with short hair is immensely fucking cursed. I don't even really have anything to say about this drama-wise. I think I fully stopped engaging with this content when he said something weird during a viewing of The New Lion King years ago. I'm guessing it's the bestiality argued in this video. Genuinely no clue. I've repressed him from my memory until now. His viewers calling things very regarded, not me censoring it, they are, makes me pretty damn happy I don't consume his content anymore though. It's sad. His stuff was kind of funny, but it's hard to ignore the elephant in the room of the cringe fan base and all the weird stuff he says. Personal rant over. YMS's worst crime is cutting his hair, like I said. And No Mrs. A God replies, you know, I feel like I have that same experience where I stopped watching him after he said something weird during one of his videos, and I became immediately uninterested in his content, but I absolutely cannot recall what. And Gas Mask Gelfling says, he and Scoot have always been, let's say, insensitive, and couch their questionable comments with in Minecraft or its satire. Scoot died last year, which was quite a blow to Adam, of course. This year's Oscar watch wasn't the same without Scoot brand insensitivity. Any Morton Scott replies, I think most of his ex-viewers have had that experience with YMS, where he'd said something bizarre that turned them off him, like the straw that broke the camel's back. With me, it wasn't anything weird like this. It was a Sardonicast episode where he talked about Citizen Kane and said something so breathtakingly wrong that it was the first movie with a narrative structure that it soured me on him instantly. And Camera Speeding replies, that was it to me. I didn't know about his weird stuff, but if you watched him long enough, you realize he has no knowledge of film, especially of the history of film. He would make bold statements that were very wrong, and I think that's why he focuses so much on the technical side. It's like he doesn't want to engage with the art form at all. Dulcet Tones replies to this screenshot of a YMS comment in the caption, he accused Rob of sending ins to minors because he didn't like what Rob said as he went over YMS's controversies. And it's a screenshot of YMS's comment saying, yeah, I stand by everything I said in that clip. Adults with brains are capable of understanding that saying, I don't care if someone draws something disgusting as long as no one's being harmed, is a normal position to have. You wouldn't know this because your audience is filled with minors that you have been caught linking corn to. Either go outside or make a video canceling the entire country of Japan. At least then you'd be targeting an amount of people that actually consume a lolly instead of pearl clutching that a likely autistic person thinks autistically. Guess what? None of these videos or comments that you've included in your video have been deleted by me. You know why? Because I'm not hiding anything. It doesn't matter how many mouth-breathing groomers like yourself pretend to not understand basic shit. It's not going to stop me from being an honest person. I'm not going to start censoring myself just because you keep crying in between your sessions of sending ends to minors. Then he timestamps 6 minutes and says, more speculation. Do you even care about saying anything truthful? Why do you think there's any place for making assumptions in these types of videos? Do you not treat any of these accusations seriously? I guess I shouldn't expect too much from a guy who is comfortable sending ends to minors. Also, another great job with your phrasing here. The word habit is doing a lot of lifting here, because it strongly implies you're talking about a thing I've done and not a fucking opinion you don't like. Let me break it down for you so you can understand it better. My responding to moral philosophical arguments on the internet is an example of an opinion you don't like, whereas providing minors with links to actual corn is a thing you did. Therefore, the word habit would more appropriately fit describing what you've done. Hope this helps. And then Plop McG replies to Dulcet Tones by saying, looking farther into the claims, Rob does show how to access corn starring YMS and goes into detail about the acts committed in the video. Personally, yeah, that's gross to do, considering the general audience for drama tends to be teens and like, is it necessary considering the only notable thing was that it's interracial corn? An Intrepid Resident replies, why is it this you're focusing on? Him saying this is Rob sending corn to children is fucking insane. And Plop McG replies, here's the thing, he's not wrong. Sure, no comment exists where he's directly doing it, but like, the dude does explain where to access that corn in the video, and it's easy to assume that some of Rob's audience are minors. That's YMS's actual argument. He should not have done that part. It's also the reason Rob's video is age restricted now. And Intrepid replies, no, he is wrong. Read the screenshot. It is not as simple, you should have censored that link in the video better. He is literally saying, I guess I shouldn't expect too much from a guy who is comfortable sending ends to minors. He says it twice after calling Rob a groomer. So he is wrong, and so are you. There's also more of a reply from YMS in response to Rob's media video than just the part that we read earlier in the Reddit thread. And I've heard that some of the comments are shadow banned or not showing up. I don't believe they're deleted by Rob himself, but that's just what I've heard, that there's a second part to this long comment we're about to read, which I cannot see, so I'm just going to read to you what I can see from his comment. Again, all of YMS's responses are linked in the description. He says, hello, I'm leaving this comment to thoughtfully and thoroughly address each accusation you made in your video. If you truly believe your video was made in good faith, I see no reason why you would not pin this comment and allow others to see my response. First, I find it incredibly difficult to believe it's just a coincidence that your video was published within the first 24 hours of me being out of town for my biggest publicly well-known work commitment that I've been doing for 11 years annually. There is literally a 1 in 365 chance that this could have happened by accident. This is a very scummy move to say the least. So I genuinely would not be surprised if you wind up deleting my comments or pretending it doesn't exist. This is especially scummy considering you're also fully aware of my wrist issues I recently got a painful procedure for. You knowingly created a situation where I'd have to physically hurt myself to give a proper response since I can't do a live stream reaction while I'm out of town. Genuinely awful behavior. Second, you're also clearly aware of the gigantic meme against my haters that I'm the easiest person in the world to get a hold of for comments. Me leaving this lengthy comment on your video is an example of this. Anyone with even the slightest amount of journalistic ethics would have made an attempt to reach me for comments before publishing this video. I checked your Twitter account and you haven't made any attempts to reach out to me for comments. I have not received a single email from you either. If you truly believe what you're saying, why not at least make the smallest effort to get more content out of it? I haven't deleted any of the posts you're referencing in your video. My entire history with every single one of these dramas is for me to give a lengthy, detailed response, like this one. If you truly believe that my opinions are so crazy that you made an entire video about it, why would you not at the very least want more easy content out of it? It's clear that you made a conscious choice to create and publish your video, knowing full well that it was lacking comments and clarifications that would have been made had you decided to reach out to me in any way whatsoever. You've built up a sizable audience making this type of content, and whether you admit to it or not, you've incentivized yourself into making decisions like these. A video with the premise of, hey everybody, look at this likely autistic person's atypical perspectives on various moral philosophical issues, wouldn't be nearly as clickable as, let's paint this guy as an abuser. You have actively chosen to prevent yourself from engaging with me in good faith because you know your ignorance allows your video to remain sensationalized. Alright, here we go. 24 seconds. Timestamping this because I'm already confused by this statement, but hopefully you'll elaborate on this farther in the video. 41 seconds. Lamafau, okay. I guess this video is somehow already way more bad faith than I was expecting. He negatively reviewed Prince of Egypt because he's an atheist who hates all things Christianity. That's just a straight up lie. You know this already. But here's the correct info for the sake of the people you've misinformed. My review of the Prince of Egypt was a 40-minute long conversation on my podcast. Within that conversation, I praise many of the film's elements. I talk about the animation, layering with 2D/3D styles, the sense of spectacle, the music, the tone, the level of self-awareness, the level of seriousness, the voice acting, the character dynamics, the cultural impact, and more. Somehow you forgot about all of that? I ultimately gave the film a 5 out of 10, which is not a negative rating. I also praised and recommended The Last Temptation of Christ, and the exact same review for The Prince of Egypt that you supposedly saw. How is it that you can believe that I dislike The Prince of Egypt for the reasons you stated when there are other films I enjoy that are equally strong in their Christian messaging? The possibilities here are 1. You lied knowingly and maliciously. 2. You didn't actually watch my review for The Prince of Egypt and decided to comment on it anyway. I'm curious which of the two it is, so please feel free to let me know. 56 seconds. Wow. It's genuinely shocking how frequently you're misrepresenting things. As you already know, but failed to mention to your audience, my mental breakdown was not from him making excuses for not working, it was from him lying about everything. Like, we all literally found out he was a compulsive liar as an actual mental problem. He would lie about things that aren't even significant because that's just how his brain was wired. As I already explained in the comments I know you've read, I would have been fine with him taking time off work for any reason as long as he didn't lie to me about it. He's ruined nearly every one of his relationships because of this pattern of behavior. Also, why even include this at all? Literally why? 209. False. That photo was taken in Edmonton at a New Year's party. The pose was made as a joke for the camera and no S-act was actually being performed. I've talked about this publicly in several live streams and in several comments on Reddit. Why not do any basic research for your video? It's not difficult information to find. Please do me a favor and post why you believed that photo was taken at Rainforest. Was it a Reddit comment or something? Is that seriously enough for you to believe something and put it in your video? That's it? Or did you make it up entirely because you thought it made sense in your mind? Did you just go, yeah, this probably happened, and hit record? Seriously, I'm genuinely curious about this, so fill us in on how you actually got to all these untrue statements you make. 241. Adam claimed that none of these things at Rainforest actually happened and quickly corrected himself, and then your supporting video clip is me saying, a lot of the shit that people think the convention got banned for is not what it actually got banned for. Okay, why are you framing what I said in such a dishonest way? Why is it important for you to believe that my claim was and none of it actually happened when that's not my claim? You seriously don't see any difference at all between the statement, none of that actually happened, versus what I actually said? What a strange coincidence that your paraphrasing of my words wound up leaning towards an uncharitable interpretation rather than a more positive one. What an unbelievable coincidence. Starting to see a pattern here. 303. Why do you so confidently state that was not a thing like that? What are you basing your statement on? Why are you so confident that what I'm saying is untrue? Their name is Safi Kitten, and many furries were aware of them creating drama at conventions like this. There was another different convention where they got their friend to pose facing a wall. Safi Kitten would then post a picture with the caption, someone's pissing in the lobby at MFF, or whatever convention it was. This particular tweet didn't gain much traction because it wasn't convincing enough. No actual piss on the floor, and it was clearly just someone posing. However, the ones they and their friends posted about Rainforest spread like wildfire because of the existing justified drama and controversies surrounding the convention. I know this because I followed their Twitter account before it got banned. It's honestly shocking that you don't know this already, but misinformation spreads easily on the internet. This is especially true on Twitter, and even more especially true on furry Twitter. I dislocated my knee dancing in 2012 and got carried out of the convention in a stretcher. I opened Twitter in the hospital and it was filled with people saying, somebody got stabbed at the dance. All it took was for someone to see a person in a stretcher for the telephone game to lead to something that wildly inaccurate. And somehow you think that every single tweet you read on the internet is true? You don't find it a bit odd that Safi Kitten is the primary source for several of these incredibly unique rainforest sightings? Dude was trolling, and you can see evidence of his friends getting in on the joke in the very same internet historian video you're using as a reference. He wasn't retweeting his own friends making jokes about him drilling a glory hole in the bathroom. Yes, there were people who caused vandalism at the convention, but there was no glory hole. This is an objective fact. You don't think a single furry at the entire convention would have taken a picture of this? Not one? Nobody? Do you not know how to check primary sources? Do you not know how to reverse image search? You seriously just believe a fucking tweet and that's all you need. Keep acting incredulous at my first-hand accounts of an event while you're over here using fucking tweets and meme videos as your sources. This is fucking embarrassing, dude. Shout out to our tier 3 members, internet representatives, Kiko, Sal Sal, Coldest Bandito, and Captain Crash Out. Thank you guys so much for the support. Again, as I said in the intro, I'd really recommend watching the videos linked in the description if you haven't already. You get to see both sides make their arguments. Nicholas DeOrio has also covered it if you check out his channel. But with that being said, I'll see you all in the next episode.